The boys from the King's Road occupy centre stage in our footy action now. The games are never dull on ESPN Classic.
Hello and welcome to Sport Classics. See some of the greatest players and finest goals in Chelsea blue in this collection of vintage matches from the past 4 decades. First up, it's a trip back to 1972 for Chelsea against Manchester City. The match was watched by, among others, the Bermudan champions. Brian Moore has the rest of the details.
It's been such a disappointing start of the season for Manchester City, and they were the first onto the field for this game, led by skipper Colin Bell. But without injured Rodney Marsh, and with 19-year-old Colin Barrett keeping his place at number 2 in place of Tony Book. The Chelsea changes, they come in defence, where Dempsey and Droy are both injured. David Webb moves to number 5 with Ronnie Harris alongside him. And Paddy Mulligan, the Irishman, gets his first game of the season for Chelsea at number 2. It's a defence that expects to be tested to the full by those 3 great stars from the Manchester City attack. One of them, of course, is Mike Summerbee, so swift and dangerous down the wing. There's also Colin Bell, a player, it seems, with energy enough for 2. And, of course, Francis Lee, now happily recovered from a midweek knock. The referee today, Ray Tinkler of Boston, and in the disappointing crowd of 30,000, a selection of faces, some young and some pretty ones that it's always good to see at a football ground. And also, another one that's equally good to see, a face that has seen it all before.
So Manchester City then in their startling strip of all white, with the blue and red diagonal stripes across it. Kick-off defending the goal to our left. City, who've made such a poor start to the season. In 4 games, they've won only 1 and lost 3. In fact, have scored in only 1 of those games. The last possible sort of start that anyone would have forecast for them. Chelsea, whose great early season progress was halted by Liverpool here on Wednesday night. And Manchester City today to add to their troubles without Rodney Marsh. On the touchline now with a shoulder injury. Towards Webb, who'd gone right up. Hollins driving one on. And it won't go out of play. And Garland with a chance to turn it back. A little dink back for Webb right in there. Cook nutting it in again. Hollins bursting one in. And City didn't know where they were. Kemba. Oh, a foul there by Towers on Kemba. A resilient player, Kemba, but he really couldn't take that sort of challenge from Towers. Chelsea's free kick. Hudson lofting one on. Cook turning it on, but the whistle had already gone. And referee Ray Tinkler there to spot an offside decision, giving Manchester City a chance to draw their breath again. Colin Bell to take the throw. Miller. And Webb getting in to give away the corner. To be taken by Mike Summerbee. Tommy Booth has gone right in, and that's the man. No, he's not. He's gone above his head, but Doyle was in there too. And Hollins with a chance to get it away now for Chelsea. Harris and Mulligan. A little too high for Towers, and now it's Garland to Cook. Towers recovering. Chelsea claimed fleetingly that Mellor might have been offside, but a good shot by Mellor, and that very nearly deceived Bonetti by the near post, and Bonetti forced to give away the corner. A really powerful shot there by Ian Mellor, this 6-footer. The target was a very small one. He hit it straight and true. Summerbee with the corner on the far side now. Lee outnumbered, or rather Bell outnumbered, and now Lee. Kemba, Webb, all presenting it straight again to Mike Summerbee. He's rounded Mulligan. Still Summerbee. Barrett, Doyle, Bell and Derek Jeffries. Lee. A lot of Chelsea men back, and Jeffries pounding down there. Now Bell. They've kept possession well as Bell now places it straight for Bonetti. And now Hollins. Osgood right back in the deep position. But he's got Garland striking ahead of him, and Hudson too. And even Mulligan over on the right. Cook with the ball now, though. Back for Harris. Oh, nicely into space there for Osgood. Hudson again. Garland in the middle, and that's one aim for Garland. Oh, and he missed it by a fraction. That really has been the strength of Chris Garland, and indeed, for that matter, Kemba this season. But Garland in particular, the magnificent way that he gets into unexpected positions. In fact, he may have been caught offside there, but the warning was quite clear for Manchester City. Indeed, he was offside. Lee to Jeffries. Bell was shouting for that ball, and it really is significant how, although they've had a rather disappointing start to the season, how eager the City players are to take possession of the ball. Nobody really hiding, and Webb certainly wasn't hiding there. Summerby. Tars, Bell, Donachie. Donachie was flattened by Garland, and so he couldn't take the return pass from Bell. And so Garland now in possession for Chelsea. Hudson up there inside him. Flicked on again beautifully by Hudson for Garland. Turned back again towards Osgood, and Miller was there before him. Or rather Jeffries. Again, the swift striking of Chris Garland for Chelsea. And a beautiful through ball from Hudson that set him on his way. Bell to Booth. Kemba. Donachie. Doyle. Hollins after him all the while. But the ball bouncing on for Ian Mellor. Played on there for Summerby, who's onside. Got Lee in the middle, but with no hope of reaching him. Garland coming deep. Donachie picking up the poor layoff there. So Ian Mellor again. Bell switching it nicely there for Summerby. Again, Lee lurking in the middle if Summerby can find him. That's the cross towards Mellor, in fact. And still with Mellor. And finally turned behind by McCready. And it looked as though Mellor was in a beautiful position to put Manchester City ahead. The Chelsea captain storming across. And so Bonetti and the Chelsea defence wait for the corner from Summerby. Tommy Booth on the edge of that Chelsea penalty area. Deep one there towards Doyle. Harris touching it off towards, or hopefully towards, Kemba. Hollins. Poor pass cut out by Bell. Summerby. Stopped nicely by McCready. Barrett. And Bell. Summerby. Deep one there towards Francis Lee. Mulligan climbing above him. And Kemba turning it towards Garland. Kemba. Osgood watched by Jeffries, but he's shaken him off. Attacking Booth. Laying it for Cook. Turned in for Garland. Delaying his shot. Osgood just over. Good Chelsea move. Right along the line, right from defence, right into attack. And Osgood playing a part when he gathered the ball and brushed aside the shadow of Jeffries. Attacked Booth, played it on, couldn't quite get the return low enough. Bell. Summerby nodding that down nicely for Francis Lee. Mellor. Slipping past Mulligan, but Harris was there too, but it's still Mellor. Mulligan. to Hudson. Good piece of play by Mulligan there, filling in nicely behind Harris. Now Hollins. Hudson. Hollins. And Hollins again. Down he goes. Donaghy tripped him, and Donaghy's going to be booked. Willie Donaghy tripping John Hollins. Doyle arguing there with referee Ray Tinkler. It's coming close to showing dissent. Shake of the head by Colin Bell, who disagrees, but the trip was a fairly obvious one by Willie Donaghy on Hollins. And I'm sure someone in the stand who is probably relishing the game in the centre there, Danny Blanchflower, formerly of Spurs, of course, Northern Ireland, the sort of man who believed when he played in the sort of football that City and Chelsea are producing at the moment here at Stamford Bridge. Well into injury time now at the end of the first half.
Go on, Mike!
And Jeffries to Summerby. Good deep cross there towards Francis Lee. Nailed it on for Mellor. Can he turn it in? And a good save by Bonetti. Bell in first. And the bounce wouldn't go for Summerby. Webb judging it the better. But not that pass, and Doyle picking it up now for Manchester City. Played on for Summerby. A good little final burst here by City. Lee trying to get the shot in, and then Hollins going across the face of his own goalkeeper. Lee down and injured. And now playing it back to Peter Bonetti. McCready for Chelsea. Nearly 2 minutes of injury time gone. And Donaghy now for Manchester City. Still Francis Lee is injured. Peter Bonetti, you can see in the background there, hovering over him. Summerby. And Doyle. Towers allowing it to go into touch, thinking that Mellor was behind him. Harris. Kemba to McCready. The last seconds of the first half. And Cook keeping that in well. Kemba. Played again for the adventurous Mulligan. Hudson. Mulligan again, turned in hopefully towards Garland. Lee on his feet again. Summerby. Webb. McCready. And a free kick given to Chelsea. McCready a little annoyed with the referee. They're not playing the advantage. Never an easy thing to do. But now here's Osgood with a great chance and a goal. And a goal by Osgood. So maybe Chelsea were happy that they didn't play the advantage, because they took a wonderful advantage of that quickly taken free kick. Osgood with that eye for a goal that few others possess, flicking it to the right sort of angle and then to the back of the goal to put Chelsea into the lead on the very stroke of half-time. In fact, with nearly 4 minutes of injury time gone at the end of the first half, Osgood's second goal of the season and Chelsea's first of a highly entertaining game. Now Harris. Beautifully taken goal with all the skills. And a wonderful flourish to end the first half that has been so full of promise. Peter Osgood, the scorer for Chelsea. And still to come the second half of this highly entertaining game, and much more besides on the big match this afternoon. But a half-time score here at Stamford Bridge that reads Chelsea 1, Manchester City 0, and we'll be back with you in 2 minutes from now. Welcome back as Chelsea get the second half away, now defending the goal to our left. It's one goal up. In fact, Stamford Bridge is not the happiest of hunting grounds for Manchester City. They've not won here in their last 10 visits. Although I suppose the one consolation for them is that they were 2-0 down last year and won 2-2, or at least drew 2-2. Garland coming back hard on Mellor. Good piece of tackling back there by the Chelsea number 7. He's got into the Chelsea side after being in and out last season and so determined to stay in this time. Jeffries, still Garland chasing and chasing and chasing, but now it's with Francis Lee. Bell again has gone through and he couldn't quite hold it. And turned by McCready across the face of his own goal and behind for another corner to Manchester City. Bell, who very nearly collected that ball from Lee in what could have been a really decisive position. Towers now with a deep corner. Summerby getting his head to it, turning it down, and Mellor turning it in. And the goal given, 1-1, and Mellor the scorer. A wonderful jump by Summerby, turning it in, and Mellor making no mistake at all as he turns swiftly on the ball to plant it wide of Bonetti. So with 5 minutes of the second half gone, Manchester City draw level. And Ian Mellor the scorer. Lee, while Chelsea argued, but Lee in fact unaware of the fact that the referee had given the throw to Chelsea. Some pushing there by Towers on Hudson, but Chelsea get the throw, if not the kick. Harris with the throw. Garland. Hudson. So many superb little touches by Hudson. Little flicks and little pushed passes. There's a little push pass there by Hollins at the 1-2 with Cook going on, and Hollins now. The cross towards Osgood. Trying to hit it first time. From Towers behind for the corner. Osgood chancing everything with a really spectacular looking volley, and it very nearly paid off with that deflection of Tony Towers, going behind instead for this corner to be taken by Charlie Cook. Webb right up, Garland in the 6-yard area, that's aimed towards David Webb, who gets ahead to it. Mulligan nodding it on, and somehow Corrigan got a hand beyond Garland to palm that one away. Now the Chelsea crowd beginning to find their voices again after that City equaliser. It's Garland, beautiful skills, trying to turn it into the path of Kemba though. Osgood trying to challenge there Jeffries, who's going past all comers. Osgood coming back for some more, and still with Jeffries on the pass to Booth. Good play by the City number 11. Now Summerby, has he got the speed? He has indeed. The cross there, Bonetti half getting to it, and then getting it a second time. And a great fist raised there by Francis Lee to Mike Summerby, saying well done for the speed and for the cross. Jeffries. Bell, Towers, Lee, Kemba and Hudson. Hollins to McCready. Barrett coming in hard and rather committing himself, and McCready going past him. And now a nice dummy there by Hudson, but has he got the pace as Towers comes right back at him. And a corner given. So Corrigan contemplating another bit of pressure on him. This massive figure, and another massive figure in David Webb coming up once more for Chelsea, and Mulligan, the number 2. Cook with the corner under that crossbar, the fist again of Corrigan to get it away. Bell, Mellor, turned in for Doyle. A lot of challenging there going on between Doyle and Mulligan, going in hard. So a game with a lot of skills to it and a lot of artistry, but with the harder physical side to it as well, which is really what the game is all about. Combination of all those things. Donaghy, Mellor, played on nicely for Donaghy. Can he cross it this time? Bonetti half came and went, and McCready was unaware that Bell was so close behind him. Otherwise he must surely have planted that ball behind for the corner to be absolutely sure. So the Chelsea captain in pain, Harry Medhurst, coming on. Bell in his eagerness going hard in on the back of McCready. So the crowd, who've really been treated to some fine football here this afternoon, just wondering whether Chelsea can raise themselves again to go in front once more. And so I should think is Dave Sexton, wondering exactly the same, the Chelsea manager. Mulligan. Garland. And Harris. The long one forward, and Mulligan of all people leading the charge again for Chelsea. And Chelsea's throw. Harris to Cook. Played nicely by Cook and nicely by Harris for Garland. Oh, beautifully played there for Harris. The hammer one, and Corrigan to save well. There's some beautiful interpassing there by Chelsea, with Cook and Garland and Harris making a really devastating triangle, and it's Cook again. Kemba, Garland, good play, still Garland, but 2 against 1, but still he won it. Now Cook. Handball, and indeed the linesman is flagging off, the referee said no, and the referee taking the linesman's word, and although the play is going on roaring at the other end of the field, in fact some will be putting the ball into the side netting, the referee there consulting with the linesman. In fact, Ray Tinkler had waved play on in the first instance, noticed that the linesman, who perhaps was better placed, had got his flag up, and so really it's another example of good teamwork on the field between the linesman and referees, linesman and the referee. In fact, referees will always tell you there aren't 2 sides on the field but 3, the 2 teams who are playing and the 2 linesmen and the referee. So Chelsea's free kick, 20 minutes of the second half gone. Hudson, a little dink deep towards Osgood, nodding it down, but into the arms of Corrigan. McCready bouncing off him. Donaghy. Mellor. A lot of life and a lot of style about this game, and it's Ian Mellor on the ball now for Manchester City into Francis Lee. And Webb caught that one in the face from Harris. And Garland down beneath us also clutching that right leg. So while Harry Medhurst off the picture is attending to one Chelsea player, Chris Garland, Peter Blakey, the City trainer, comes on to tend to David Webb. Takes a few knocks in the face during the course of the season, David Webb. He seems to be a fellow who's got perpetually either a black eye or a flattened nose or something. He really is a wholehearted player. Doyle with a long throw, and Bonetti missed it, and that time the wholehearted David Webb nodding it over his own crossbar to the safety of Chelsea. Well, he might have had something in his eye, but his eyes were firmly fixed on that ball, and that really came to Chelsea's rescue. So a corner then to Manchester City, who've come back with a tremendous amount of life in this second half, taken by Towers. Bonetti gathering it above the head of Mellor. And they want to bring Houseman on. Looks so it's Charlie Cook going off. Moore's header. Summerby for Bell. Barrett. Played on beautifully. What a good piece of running too by Doyle. But the cross didn't match it, and Chelsea get a goal kick. Hollins. Hopeful of getting to Garland, nodded in by Donaghy, and Jeffries in a lot of trouble, and now Houseman has a chance to score, and he's missed it. It's gone across the goal and behind. What a terrible amount of turmoil and confusion in that City goal mouth. Donaghy and Jeffries and Corrigan between them all going for the ball, and neither of them really getting it away, falling for Houseman, and Houseman could only put it wide of what really at that moment was an unattended goal. Booth and Webb to McCready. Chelsea passing, which for so long in the game looked so devastating, now has gone sadly awry. Lee. Good play by Lee to Colin Bell. Lee to Booth. Donaghy. Miller. Chelsea's throw. Harris to Hudson. Steve Kemba. Hudson. Towards Osgood, and Osgood got a head in and nodded it down there for Houseman. A tremendous goal! A tremendous goal by the substitute Houseman. And as the cross came over, a little flick on by Peter Osgood to the feet of Houseman, and he made no mistake. So Houseman on as substitute for Charlie Cook puts Chelsea ahead again. A very good header by Peter Osgood on the way. So someone a good deal happier now. Dave Sexton, the Chelsea manager, as the ball comes through to Bonetti. Although he knows so much can happen in the 6 minutes to the left. Now with Harris. Hollins. Mulligan. Houseman again, shadowed by Booth. Oh, and he kept that in somehow, and he didn't keep it in the second time, though. And the throw to Manchester City. Well into injury time, and there can't be much of it in this second half. It looks as though City are on their way to their 4th defeat in 5 games. But ridiculous to think that they will be in that position for too long this season with the amount of skill and talent they've got in their side. Another free kick to Manchester City for the nudge by Mulligan on Lee. Doyle quite clearly wanting everyone forward. City with far too much flair and far too much talent and invention to be so low in the table for very much longer, but they've been beaten here at Stamford Bridge this afternoon with goals by Peter Osgood on the stroke of half-time, and Peter Houseman there late in the second half providing a spectacular winner, and between those two goals, the one by Ian Miller just after half-time that gave Manchester City a little bit of hope. So a very good victory then by Chelsea, who played some good football in a game that was really renowned for its good football, and a final scoreline that reads Chelsea 2, Manchester City 1.